are live. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Uncompromised with Tara. As people sign on, I'm here with my fellow Jersey girl, JoJo from Jerz. We just hopped off another live, and there was just still so much to talk about. You and I are so simpatico on what's going on right now with the White House. We're still kind of thriving off the high of our No Kings participation over the weekend, which I'm going to write about actually on Substack. It's taken me, first of all, I needed to recover. Last week, there was a lot going on.
Oh, yeah.
And I did 2 protests in 2 different places, and I was back and forth to Charlottesville and all the preparation. And as you guys know, with Seneca Project, we did 2 big promos for No Kings in partnership with Indivisible. So navigating all of that, it was a week. So I needed a day. And welcome everyone who's signing on right now with welcome to Uncompromised Live with me and my girl JoJo.
Hi.
We're gonna talk about this fucking democracy demolition bullshit happening at the White House in a second, because we're so fired up about this. But there's just so much going on, and on Sunday, I just needed the down day after the big success of No Kings and everything, and I'm like, yay, I can settle in, watch the Giants game, comes on at 4, and just heartbreak.
Yeah.
Heartbreak. You and I are both New York Giants fans.
Yep.
And it still pains me to talk about it now. It's 3 days later, and I'm still I can't believe that happened. The most epic collapse in fourth quarter history in the entire NFL. I don't care what anybody says. It was awful.
Yeah. I just, you and I were talking offline, and I was out running errands with my kids and missed most of the game and then came back for the fourth quarter. Yeah. And then I sat down and then we were all watching, and my son's like, oh, can we turn it off? I'm like, no, we can't turn it off. I'm like, we have to watch to the end. Imagine how many Broncos fans left. It's all I could think about was
see it. You could see it in the stands. Yes, as I said that to Marcel, I was like, my husband, I said, oh my God, look at all those empty seats in the stadium. They thought this was over at the end of the third quarter. And then that's why you never leave early.
Never leave.
Never.
Nope.
Never. I'm also a lifelong, long-suffering Knicks fan. And I remember when the Knicks in the 90s, in the series against the Indiana Pacers, when frickin' Reggie Miller shot, 8 points in 9 seconds at the end of the fourth quarter to take us out of the playoffs. And I have always, from that point, it's almost 30 years now, said, I will never leave early because you never know until the clock says 0, 0, 0.
Yes. And plus, those tickets are expensive, man.
Well, that's true.
The NFL, right? But
that's
I
true.
I don't think I ever told you this, and I know this is not a Giants podcast or a Giants live, but I don't know if
I might start doing those on Mondays. To be honest,
oh my God, you should totally do that. I think that is what the universe needs, because first of all, we need a lot more stuff that is not just overtly political, and people live real lives still. We still watch football. I have a fantasy team. I am tied for second, by the way, with a whole bunch of Gen Z creators like Harry Sisson and Aaron Tarnas. I am tied for second, friends.
Yes.
The old lady tied for second, but I want
to
say
for
this.
you. You gotta get me in that next year. I've been in the same fantasy league with my friends for 15 years.
Oh my God.
15 years. And what happens is I often have to auto draft because my commissioner, who's my friend, and I love him, but they often schedule the draft while I'm on vacation on my anniversary.
Oh, no.
They do this every year. I'm like, Chris, know that we travel for my anniversary.
Yeah.
And this year was my 50th birthday and my anniversary. I was in Sicily. So the draft was 4 a.m. for my time. And I said, guys, I'm going to have to auto draft again. But you know what? I'm in second place in my division.
Damn.
That's my auto draft because I had to move some things around. I know what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. I'm not in the doldrums, so I don't like to auto draft, but it is what it is.
Well, I got to tell you this before I tell you the thing that I didn't tell you really fast. This is how old I am. My second year ever playing NFL and MLB fantasy. My second year, I was pregnant with my son, Leo, who was born in October. I won baseball that year, which was crazy, but I also won football that year. But let me tell you how nuts it was. We did it in person on paper. I shit you not. I did it in person, on paper. And you guys, if you've ever done a fantasy draft on paper in person, it is insane. And it takes a bazillion hours. And you have a stack of the way I did it. I had a stack of papers this big. And because we didn't have our cell phones were terrible. They were flip phones back in 2009.
Because your son's what, 16 now?
Yeah,
so
that was 2009. Yeah.
That's about when I started too.
Oh, yeah, so it was crazy, but the one thing I wanted to tell you that I never think I told you was about the Giants, and you're a long-suffering Giants fan. My dad was a long-suffering Giants fan, and he passed in 2011, and when my dad passed, I said, "Please, universe, just give me something good, a sign that my dad is okay," and what happened?
We won the Super Bowl in epic fashion against Tom Brady again. In epic fashion, one of the greatest Super Bowl wins ever, just like our win in 2008 season. Against Tom Brady, and we were the Patriot Brady killers back then, and it's been awful since.
Yeah. But Eli was magic in those games. Yeah, I mean,
it was, But there's still hope. There's still hope.
And Dart's pretty interesting. I'm curious to see how he does.
I think he's going to be great. Dart and Scatabo are a great combo, and there's a lot of talent. I'm not happy about the coaching staff right now. There's been some decisions that I question. I think Joe Shane may have to go as GM. We're in rebuilding, but at least there is some excitement still with those two young guys. I think they fit into the Giants system, and they have a bright future. They inject some energy that we haven't had in a long time. The defense needs to get itself together, though. The Giants are a defensive team, the Big Blue Wrecking Crew. Defense wins championships, damn it. And that's what the Giants are known for. And we need to get back to that. Defense really shit the bed on Sunday, despite the mistakes on the offensive side. I blame the defense. I blame the defense, and of course the kicker, who was fired as of today, I believe.
Bye. Sorry.
Bye, buddy. But this is the big league. Sorry.
You got one jump.
One job. One job. Well, you know what? It's actually a good transition because the President of the United States has one job. One job. And that's to uphold and faithfully execute the laws of the Constitution and protect the American people. One job, pretty much. That's what the oath says. Faithfully execute the laws and abide by the Constitution. Donald Trump has done everything possible to completely shit on the Constitution and that oath. The oath that this time he took around without his hand on the Bible. There was the symbolism of that, whether it was deliberate or not, is really playing itself out. Every day, it's something else. The affront to our Constitution and our laws and our democratic norms and institutions is so unspeakable, Joe, that here we are, 10 months into this nightmare, and Donald Trump is literally taking a bulldozer to our democracy. It's a literal demolition of one of the most sacrosanct symbols of our democracy and what it represents, the People's House and the White House. You and I have had a similar visceral, physical reaction, and it's not just us. The reaction to this from the American people across the board has been pretty united in that people are horrified by the visuals of this for a lot of reasons, but mainly because that bastard promised, I don't know why anybody would believe it, he's a lying liar who lies, but he said over the summer that they would not touch the existing building, that this would be an addition. Not only was that a flat out lie, like everything else, but they literally have destroyed the facade of the East Wing to the point, it looks like a movie. And when you see the terrorists come and blow up the White House or some kind of thing, and even in the movies when you know it's not real, I shudder at that because I respect that building so much and what it represents, and I know you feel the same.
Did you see we talked about this. I know we both love like Marvel and superheroes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see the Red Hulk when Harrison? Okay, so as in the movies, and I got upset. I got like physically upset just at the imagery of it.
Right.
And it who knew that it would be, you know what I mean?
I know.
A vision of the future. But also somebody pointed out, I've seen this a couple of times. Think about Flight 93. Think about, because there's reporting that it may have been heading for the White House, right? Flight 93, yes. They brought that plane down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania to in theory make sure that they didn't know this, but that it didn't hit the White House. For Donald Trump, man who lied about moving rubble at ground zero, by the way, and bragged about his building being the tallest. Yeah. For him to do to the White House what they lost their lives preventing, like, think about that. But yeah.
That's a good point.
Right? I mean, I didn't think of that either. Somebody posted it, and I was like, my God, they lost their lives protecting this country, protecting that building for that predator. And that's what he is, right? It is true when they say that everything he touches dies. But this is so visceral. It looks like a terrorist attack. Like you said, I don't care like how Trumpy you are. I don't care how MAGA you are. No one looks at those images and goes, yes, that's what I voted for. No.
Right. No one that's a well-adjusted, patriotic American who actually loves this country.
Yeah.
I say this all the time, Joe, that Donald Trump hates everything that makes America great. Yeah. MAGA hates everything that actually makes America great. Yep. They literally hate it because they constantly destroy it. Mm-hmm. And this time, and CJ in the comments said it looks like the Pentagon on 9/11. Yeah. You're right. It does. Mm-hmm. To Joe's point, it looks literally like it was attacked. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. Like any kind of movie that, even as ridiculous as some of those like shoot 'em up action movies are, like White House Down and other ones, like White House Has Fallen or whatever, Olympus Has Fallen. Those movies where you have like these terrorists that infiltrate the White House and like blow stuff up and all this stuff. It bothers me. Yeah. It bothers me. I still get upset watching Independence Day, which is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. When the alien beam takes out the White House and the Marine ones that are like trying to evac people out, and then they take out the Capitol building. That movie, it's 30 years old. And I still, what's coming. You watch the countdown clock, and I'm still like, no, like you still want them to get out. Yeah. You still want them to get out. Mm-hmm. Did you watch the show Paradise on Hulu? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Oh my God, Joe, you got to watch this series. Okay. Oh my God, Sterling K. Brown is a lead Secret Service agent. He's the main character, and what's his name? Oh, who played James Marsden, who played Cyclops in Marvel in X-Men.
Yeah.
He plays the president.
Okay.
And it's all about something happens and they end up in this like new paradise. Okay. I'm not going to give it away, but it's really good. And it's about like how they survive. Something happens and they end up in this place. And then it's all about like kind of the lead up to it. And you find out what happened. And there is an episode in that series. And if you guys watching have watched that series, don't give it away in the chat for people who haven't, because it is worth the watch. It's worth getting Hulu to just binge it now, because we had to wait week to week watching it live. Now you can binge it, right? It's worth it. And there's going to be another season. It's so good. But there is an episode toward the end when you find out how they got there. Joe, and I can't say why, but for personal reasons, you know why, because you know me. That episode about what happens the day that the shit goes down in the White House, I was in tears. I was blubbering. It was so intense. And again, this is fiction. Mm-hmm. The movie Civil War, similarly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw that. Mm-mm. Oh, man. Joe, I mean, I'm not going to say you got to watch it because it's a tough watch. That's another movie that came out a year ago. I went to see it by myself in the movies. My husband was working. And I was like, I'm just going to go. And there is a scene in the movie that happens in Washington it involves the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And it, again, for those of us who love this country and who understand what that building represents,
Mm-hmm.
even when it's fiction, and I got to tell you, that movie Civil War feels less and less fictional to me now that Trump got reelected. It came out before, and it really should have been a warning sign of what our country could potentially end up if Donald Trump got his way.
Yeah.
But like, there's just something so despicable and so negative about literally ripping out the infrastructure of the White House. We're not talking about just rewiring some things. We're not talking about a restoration project. Nobody would have a problem with that.
Nope.
Right? Like,
right.
If he had gone through the proper channels, we had like a blueprint. I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but it's like, we were talking about this off air. It's worse than what we just saw.
Oh.
Not only did he lie over the summer,
yeah,
they don't have a damn plan finalized.
No, they're just tearing it. That's the thing. He doesn't measure twice and cut once. He just cuts. He never ever measures. It's not, we know at least it's 90,000 square feet. Like, he doesn't, but this is him, right? This is who he is. He doesn't build things. He destroys, right? So, they say all these other presidents did this and that and the other thing. They added to, they improved. They did not destroy. They didn't tear down, but he has to tear it down. Why? Because he didn't build it. Because it's not, it's not about him. And if it's not about him, then it's not worth anything.
Yep.
So he tears it down, just like democracy, just like women, just like decency. That's what he does. And that wing, trust me, friends, he would tear it all the fuck down if he could. Jackie's garden is gone. Why? Because it wasn't about him. It's about him now, and it looks like Mar-a-Lago now because it's about him. It's always about him. And because he knows that he has not ever achieved anything of merit or of substance or of true value, of lasting legacy, he thinks if he slaps his fucking little tiny mushroom peen on our building, on the people's house, on build his freaking Arc de Triomphe, which, by the way, we could talk about that all day long because we're talking about Napoleon and fucking Hitler that he looks up to. But he thinks that these structures, that's why it's so grotesquely big. That's why he pisses his fucking name on every goddamn erection he builds, because he can't get a real erection, first of all. And secondly, because he mistakes and misplaces true legacy, true value for ostentatious displays of size and gaudiness. That's who he is, and at our expense. But you're right. There is so much that is so emotional about this because it isn't just a building. It to me, it has a personality. Every time I was there, the reverence and respect that I had, you can feel the history. You can feel what it was built by slaves. It isn't just a building. It is our evolution. It's our promise, our fragile agreement that the government will serve us and that we will hold them accountable and in check. That's what that building is. And for someone who is a temporary, I don't give a fuck what he says about 2028, he's a temporary resident of that building, to tear it down. It's a metaphor, but it's like he killed something. It's like he pulled the beating heart out of the chest.
I agree with you. When I was telling my husband about this, when I was showing him the pictures, I said to him that I literally used that term. I said, it feels like a part of me, who I am as an American, was being torn out also. And I think there are a lot of people who feel that way because it is. It is the people's house. It is the heartbeat of our democracy. And part of it, it's like our democracy has parts that all work together. It's the Capitol and Congress. It's the Supreme Court. It's the White House. Those are all symbols of what makes our democracy alive. And you destroy one, the others don't survive. And that's almost like the fact that Congress they've been bystanders and have allowed this. Where's our former presidents coming out, joining together, the living ones, saying what an atrocious affront this is to the American people? Why aren't there people using the words of Lincoln and the Gettysburg Address about a government that is of, for, and by the people. And that residence is what symbolizes that. I've had the privilege and the humble honor of being to experience the White House before it was destroyed. You have as well. And you're right. There is just something so profound about being on those grounds and the history and the blood that was shed to protect what that house represents. And for Donald Trump, who is a silver-spooned, draft-dodging, malignant narcissist who's never achieved anything in his life of substance, to your point, Joe, other than fraud, assault, lying, cheating, betraying. And this is what the legacy he's going to leave? And we're just going to sit back and that's okay? How dare those members of Congress and others who are sitting back and letting this go on? How dare they just sit back and yuck it up and drink drinks on the paved over rose garden of Jackie O's rose garden, like you said, like the Mar-a-Lago happy hour.
Yep.
This is our democracy. It's our house. What are you doing? You're a guest, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is a guest that the American people, unfortunately too many of, let back in.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is what he does with it. Could you imagine if this happened in real life? You're a guest, buddy. This isn't yours. It's ours. And how dare you?
But it speaks to his pathology because he's a predator, but he also thinks if you just take something by force, it's yours, right?
Yes.
Just think about it. Grab him by the pussy. My sister shared a cartoon with me today of him in a bulldozer, and he says, when you're a star, they let you do it, bulldozing. It's true.
That's good.
This is his, I'm going to send it to you. This is his pathology. It's also his pathology with Ukraine. It's also his pathology with China and Taiwan. Watch that space, friends. It's also his pathology with blowing up boats and not caring about war crimes. It is his pathology that you just take what you want by force and then it therefore becomes yours because he's never earned a goddamn thing in his fucking life and he knows that he can't.
Joe, it's his pathology in his approach to the midterm elections and the 2028 election, right? Yep. He is laying the foundation to take those things by force.
Yep.
That's why he threatens the Insurrection Act. Yep. That's why he has taken out, put Stephen Miller out front to talk about unleashing the military and National Guard on the streets of American cities. That's why they've done what they've done with ICE, with impunity, violating civil rights and civil liberties of people on American soil left and right. That's why he's done what he's doing in Chicago and LA, now New York. Yep. It's all to show I'm going to take this by force. Yep. And what are you going to do about it, America?
Yep.
And I'm telling you, everyone who's watching this, we have to stand in the breach here. We have to. Because if we don't, he gets away with this. We can't rely on Congress. We can't rely on those other people. Only we, the people, collectively are going to be able to yell, stop or thwart history and stop this. We have to and demand more of our leaders. Yes. Because if they can't do it, then they'll get voted the hell out and replaced with people who will. Yep. That's why No Kings was so important. It's not just a rally. It was to show the collective anger of the American people. And even Ted Cruz warned not to take that movement for granted. We have to sustain it. But we, the people, still have the power. And Donald Trump is scared to death of it. MAGA is scared to death of it. That's why he's trying to take a bulldozer to try to bulldoze our spirit also.
Yep.
And I say, not no, but hell no. They don't get to do this. I don't want to be part of the generation that lost democracy. I will say this repeatedly. And I don't think anyone else who's watching and who is involved wants to be part of that either. And it's important that we have to stand up to it. We have to.
And I don't think I know we agree on this. It's not a partisan issue. This is democracy, right? This is why when you see ballot measure after ballot measure after ballot measure in red states that passed, when the issue wasn't necessarily about politics or platform or policy, it was about, do you want a say? Do you want to be able to still exercise your voice, your autonomy? Do you still want a role in shaping this world for yourself, for your loved ones, for your family, for your friends? Do you still want a voice in this democracy? And overwhelmingly, across the board, from Kansas to Ohio and in Florida, where they cheated, and it wasn't the majority of the people that actually got the say. overwhelmingly, the American people, regardless of their political affiliations, support democracy. Donald Trump lost in, I think, 16 different voting districts in Ohio on issue 1. He won the election in those districts, and then they lost it on issue 1 because the issue was of democracy.
That's right.
That is where we are right now, and that is where the Democrats need to reach people who are going, this is not what I voted for. This is not it.
Yes. I don't know why the question should be asked, just like Ronald Reagan brilliantly asked, are you better off 4 years ago? And that has become a political axiom, that a measurement, a metric of how voters approach their elected officials. And it's simple but brilliant, and it has rung true for the most part.
Yeah.
The new one should be, is this what you voted for?
Mm-hmm.
And I find it hard to believe that the majority of people who voted for Donald Trump voted for this.
I agree.
No way.
A great ad. Seneca should make that.
Listen, if we had the money, anyone out there that wants to help fund Seneca so we can make these ads, I would love to.
Guys, if you subscribe to me, please support Seneca, please, because they are doing God's work. They are doing the best political content out there. And I would pay for that video alone. That needs to be made. You're right. You're right.
It is.
This is not what you voted for.
It's not what you voted for. Challenge people to face the decisions they made, because it's easy to just say, well, or make excuses, and which a lot of people do. But when it's in your face like this, when you juxtapose the demolition of the White House, you juxtapose that with masked Gestapo jackbooted thugs on American soil in American cities, snatching people off the streets. Not just who you think deserves that. No one deserves that. But if you think that they deserve it, do you think that pregnant women deserve that? Do you think mothers picking up their kids in the school pickup line deserve that? Do you think a father who went to immigration court to follow the system deserves to get ripped out of the arms of his wife and daughter by masked thugs in a courthouse? Is that what you voted for? Did you vote for a president of the United States while military families and military men and women who are serving this country are standing on lines at food banks in America in 2025, while Donald Trump throws $1 million a plate dinner at Mar-a-Lago, while he goes golfing at his golf resort on taxpayer money? Is that what you voted for? Is that what you voted for? Did you vote for your health care to go up 500% and your price of coffee and eggs and family farms being lost? Is that what you voted for, farmers? When you voted for Donald Trump and put those big obnoxious signs on your farmland that said Farmers for Trump, did you vote for Donald Trump to send $20 billion to Argentina? Is that America first? Is that what you voted for? Did you vote for your soybean farmers to lose their entire crops for a year because of Donald Trump's ridiculous tariff play, toying around with tariffs with China? Is that what, so while he sends money to a foreign country? Is that what you voted for, soybean farmers?
No.
To lose your family legacies because of Donald Trump playing around because it's like a dictator with a toy? Oh, I can put tariffs here. Me again. Ask people, challenge them, and say, make them own it, and this is how you can change it. You know what? No, that's not what I voted for. But I'm going to vote for, and then give them the alternative and why. It's not hard, but I just don't know why there can't be a unified message on this, but that's what it should be. Is this what you voted for? And put it visually, easily in front of people. Because when you give people the choice and you put it side by side like that, it's hard to deny. No, you're always going to have like the 30-something% or whatever that's in the cult. But the rest of the American people that voted for him that were like, oh, I'm independent, or I didn't like the black lady, or I didn't like the way she laughed, or she was okay with transgender, whatever, surgeries in prisons, or whatever nonsense that doesn't matter in everyday lives, for the most part, for the majority of American people, the culture war bullshit. Was all that worth it for this?
Yeah, I believe there are a lot more people who are reachable than Republicans want us to believe, and I believe that's why no kings, And I have Ezra Levin coming on after this, but not on a live. It's going to be my recorded podcast. But that's why we talked about this just on Over It, why their response to No Kings is so disjointed and so persistent. They can't get a narrative because they can't land on one that makes enough sense, that it resonates, that it knocks down what we saw, what we experienced. And what Maxwell Frost said on that live we did the other night was, when Republicans are scared of what we are doing, that's when you know you need to go all in. He said that, and he is right. And you talk about defenses winning championships, but offenses win elections.
That's right.
And so that brings it all full circle, because it's true. And that's why this is what terrifies them. That's why they can't get their messaging right. That's why they originally said that it was going to be terrorists and violence and criminals. And then they were like, oh, well, that didn't happen. So now it's just too many white people. And, oh, well, that didn't happen, but they hate America. Well, that didn't happen. They can't land on a narrative. Oh, it was fake. They can't land on a narrative because they know it's a losing issue for them, and they don't have any legs underneath them. That's why we know we need to go all in. That's why we know when we reach out to those other people, those folks that showed up for those protests who might not otherwise have done so. There are people to reach, because they know what their reality is right now, and you cannot piss down their backs and tell them it's raining anymore. And that's why it's all gas, no brakes from here on out. No brakes.
Exactly. No kings and no brakes.
No brakes.
Listen, when Ted Cruz says, this is the headline in the Daily Beast, Ted Cruz begs GOP to take, quote, political peril seriously after furious anti-Trump protests. The senator is the second top Republican to issue warnings of a prospective midterm massacre.
Yep.
Say what you want about Ted Cruz, right? Say what you want. But he's not wrong here.
Nope.
He's not wrong.
Nope. That's why they're trying to steal it, rig it, con it, fraud it, whatever they can. They know the will of the people is coming, and it was already coming for them because it's a midterm and Donald Trump is in power and they haven't done anything. It was already coming for them because of the big billionaire boner bill. It was already coming for them. They have only dug themselves in deeper, and now they know the only way out is to cheat.
That's right. With all the gerrymandering. That's why you see all this mid-decade gerrymandering.
Yep.
Because they know that's the only way, is to try to change the structure, because they're, to JoJo's point, they're doing a lot of stuff that the American people don't like, so they have to rig it. One last thing that Ted Cruz said, he said, unquestionably, quote, we should take the political peril seriously. There is a lot of energy. There is a lot of anger on the left, and elections can be dangerous when one side is mobilized and angry. That is why MAGA thrives on fear-mongering. Fear is a hell of a motivator. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying that we need to fear-monger, because fear-mongering means that you're basically demagoguing things that aren't necessarily true. You're whipping people up. Yeah. We legitimately should be fearful and angry if we don't stop this. It's real on our side. The fear of what more destruction and damage Donald Trump and MAGA could do to our country is palpable and legit, because we're seeing it happen. It's not the boogeyman red herring bullshit that Republicans have been so good at capitalizing on for years. I know I was on the other side for a long time, and I'm not proud of that. But I also didn't completely buy into some of that fear mongering and using that as a tactic when it wasn't true. Like, there were things that I was concerned about, but this is just something else. The demagoguery of what they've done with immigrants and, lying about the elections and all of this kind of gaslighting is on another level, which is why I quit the party. But I'm just saying, Ted Cruz is right. And the idea here is when, the more committed wins. The more committed wins. It doesn't matter how much money. It doesn't matter, what traditional things you did before. The most committed wins. And that's what our side has to maintain, is the galvanization, the mobilization, the commitment. You turn that fear and outrage into action, which is butts to the ballots. It is voting people into office and voting people out who are not doing what they should be doing, and voting people in who will. So there's elections in Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. There may be local elections where you guys live. Make sure, if there are, because state and local elections matter. It all matters, but state and local elections in particular matter, because states are the first line of defense against what's happening in Washington. I'll give you the last word, Joe.
No, well, I don't know how I could ever have the last word with Tara because you close things like nobody I've ever seen in my life. And when we had our No Kings Live event leading up to the marches last week, I knew that the person that needed to bring it home was you. And that's just because that's what you do. I mean, it's better. You do better than anybody.
No.
So I could never even try to match like that kind of closing energy. I will just say this.
Thank you. Don't sell yourself short, Jo.
Well, I love
you're
you.
my sister in spirit here.
That's right. And we say this, I mean, I've said this a lot. Like, once upon a time, you and I probably wouldn't have agreed on much when it came to politics, platform, policy, positions, all of that stuff. We probably wouldn't have agreed on a lot of things on paper. But at the end of the day, the moment that we are in this country requires that we put all of that aside and focus on one thing. And that one thing is protecting and preserving this democracy. Call it a constitutional republic. I don't care what you want to call it. That is it. And I don't want to be precious about this. I don't want to be Veruca Salt about this. I don't want to have purity tests about this. I don't care. If you are aligned on that one thing, then we are in the same tent and we are in the same fight. And it does not matter if there's an R or an I or a D next to your name. This is all in. This is America. This is the United States of America. And this moment is an extraordinary one where we don't take every chance we have right now to stop what is happening to us and to fight for this democracy. We will not have an opportunity in the future, and we will be looking back going, why didn't I then? Coulda, shoulda, woulda. I, like you, Tara, I do not want to be the generation that leaves my children with a future more bleak than the one I had. I do not, and I will not. And again, I think more people out there, more people are aligned with us. We have more in common than we don't. We have more things that connect us. We have more interests. We want the same fundamental things. And at the end of the day, we want a functioning democracy so we can keep moving and working towards perfecting this union. It's not perfect. It's never been perfect. But as long as we continue to move in the right direction, then we're on the right path. And this is the moment that we are in right now. And it does require all of us. We cannot be sitting on the sidelines. We cannot be quiet. We cannot be complacent. We can't put our heads in the sand. This is the moment. We all have to meet it in whatever ways we can.
That's right. Because we are America. We don't fucking do kings.
Amen.
The end. Amen. The end. Okay? That's where it ends. That's it. Well, Jo, thank you for hanging out with me. I think this conversation has inspired me. I am working on some merch for Uncompromised.
I love it.
That I will be revealing soon. So, and if you are a paid subscriber for Uncompromised, you get first dibs and you will get a percentage off. You'll get a discount to some of the merch that's coming. And I think one of those things, I say it all the time, and you reminded me that defense wins championships, but offense wins elections. I say it all the time. That might have to go on some merch. I don't know. I might.
I love it. I love it. I want a hoodie. I want a hoodie that says that.
You don't pay for nothing, my friend. Your money's no good here. You're no good here. But thank you, everybody who has been watching. We appreciate you all. Please, if you are new to Jo, from my side, please like and subscribe and get a paid subscription if you can. Jo is amazing. She's a fantastic writer, and we'll have you laughing and crying all in the same post because she's amazing. But please subscribe to JoJo from Jerz, her Are You Effing Kidding Me Substack, and the Siren. I saw Harry Dunn here today. Hi, Harry. We got to get on the line together. Yes, Harry. Harry's giving us hearts. He was giving us hearts.
I love you, Harry. And if you're here for me and you don't support Tara, well, go and pay subscribe for her because fucking she's killing it. And also, please go and support the Seneca Project. You guys, we live in a visual economy right now. Media matters. Videos matter. They can pierce some of these bubbles that people live in. And the Seneca Project is making the best political content. I don't work for the Seneca Project. I believe in what they do so much, and they need help from everyday Americans. They need help from all of us, whether you live in America or you're looking across the pond going, what the hell is going on over there? Please support the Seneca Project. It makes so much difference. I promise you, that is money well spent.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you, Jo. Jersey girls, kick ass, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.